This lesson will be on mass production and assembly lines. The focus for this lesson will be for students to be able to define and describe what mass production and assembly lines are, learn the value of assembly lines and mass production, and be able to apply what they learn in this lesson. Also, be able to apply what they learn in this lesson to real life and also be able to increase their communication and teamwork skills. So, what is an assembly line? An assembly line is a manufacturing technology that moves materials from one workstation to another to create a final product. As you can see in this picture, there's a bunch of robots kind of moving these car parts along an assembly line, or like it looks like a conveyor belt trying to create the finished car. What is mass production? Mass production is the output of products in a large quantity on an assembly at a quick pace. So basically, assembly lines and mass production kind of coexist. To produce mass production, you need an assembly line. And, assembly lines are used for mass production, and vice versa. So for assembly lines, there are three main types. The first type that I will be talking about is the classic assembly line. They are commonly seen in automobile manufacturing, appliance production, and other producing industries. Right here, this is kind of like one of the first assembly lines around when they were producing the Ford Model T. You can see people working in groups, and then they're kind of being like all the same product. With the classic assembly lines, it was manual. People moved the product by hand, but as you will see in the next slides for the next types of assembly lines, it's kind of different. So for the progressive assembly lines, they are very similar to the classic assembly lines, except everything is automatic. It's automatically moved and not manually moved. So as you see, there's like no humans in this picture on the slide. It's all robots moving along the actual product. You see they're moving the car along, it looks like in a conveyor belt. So there's like very little to no human interaction. It's usually all automated unless something goes wrong. It's all just programmed to move along. The last and third final assembly line is the flexible assembly line. This allows for like changes, like let's say you have a product but you want the product to have different colors. Let's say it's a toy car. You're producing a toy car on an assembly line and you want blue and red cars. Well, the flexible assembly line allows for quick access to changing, things like the color, uh, small details that can be quickly interchanged, and it's interchangeable. So, yeah. All right. Mass production. Mass production is divided into three key concepts. First is the division of labor. It basically means that, the process is broken down for unskilled and like semi skilled workers to perform them as smaller tasks. And basically for them to be able to push through the process, like let's say an assembly line, one worker is doing this, another worker is doing that, another worker is doing another thing to push out a final product. That is the division of labor. The next one is standardization. Standardization is basically products that are designed to be uniform but also interchangeable for efficiency. So, kind of like flexible assembly lines, you can have a product that, hey, it's all the same product, but there's, different colors. Let's say, perchance, we're producing an iPad, like one model of the iPad. There's like 5 different colors of this iPad, but it's got the same like hardware. Well, you don't want to have to build a whole nother assembly line for each color of the same iPad. It's kind of like that standardization. You're being able to interchange certain things about the assembly line. But it also can be uniform. So, like the classic and the progressive assembly line, it's just one assembly line that's doing all of the same thing. Like it's making one product, there's no change at all. That's standardization. Automation, like the progressive assembly line. The progressive assembly line has no manual like work, it is all just automatic. There is little to no human interference with the assembly line in the process. That's automation, just getting it out there. It gets it out fast and it can produce products really fast and efficiently. All right. For the activity, students will create and assemble an assembly line to put together. They're going to be creating a box out of paper and draw 3 even-sized circles on each side. Students will be given one pair of scissors, a roll of tape, one marker, and one template, and several pieces of paper to produce as many boxes as they can. They will form teams, and each person on the team is only allowed to use one of the materials. Let's say one person has the scissors, they can only cut the paper. Another student has the tape, they can only tape together what the person folded before, and so on. The handout on the template, the students will cut on the solid lines and fold on the dotted lines. Students will apply tape to the corners of the box to keep it together. This is the handout, and I'll be walking through it step by step. So, this is also what the handout looks like on the paper. As you can see, there's solid lines and the dotted lines. This right here is the handout cut out. And next with the handout, you'll be folding along these dotted lines so it looks something like this. After that, you want to tape the corners like you see, and it should form a nice box like this. Once you have the finished taped up box, you can draw your 3 circles on the side. It does not have to be like this specifically. You just need 3 even-sized circles drawn on each and every side. So the assessment for this, students will have 2 minutes to produce as many of these boxes as possible with their assembly line. This will test their understanding of a successful assembly line, mass production, and teamwork skills. Any questions, you can email or call during the office hours.